A pattern brush is very similar to a scatter brush in that you're using artwork to create a stroke that's going to have some kind of decoration. The difference being, though, that the pattern brush is going to follow your stroke exactly. It's not going to have the artwork scattered all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to create a scatter brush using tools we already have available to us. So instead of creating new artwork, we're going to use symbols. But keep in mind, you can use your own artwork. Just follow these exact steps. So let's go ahead to the little spade symbol here, or the club symbol, and grab our symbols panel and just tear it off. And let's also grab the swatches and do the same thing. We need these guys here to do this. Now, as you can see here, I have two symbols that I already put in here. I'm going to show you how to do that. What I chose from the symbols library was the flowers category. And all I did was take this flower here, and I put it on my desktop by dragging it out. And I did the same thing with this rose. Okay, so I took these two symbols, and I took them both and put them into my swatches panel like so. And as you can see, there they are. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because we don't need them anymore. And I'll go ahead and close down my symbols. Now let's go to our brushes panel, and we're going to go to the options here on the upper right hand corner, and we're going to create a brand new brush. This time we're going to head for pattern brush and then click OK. Here's our dialog box, and we can call it whatever we want to, so I'll just go ahead and call it flower. Now here's the tricky part. We have what looks like some kind of video game. We have these boxes and we have this path here. Well, what happens is, if you look along this path, you're telling Illustrator where you want the artwork that you created to live on the line. So we could put an artwork piece on the beginning or the end, as you see here, and anywhere along that path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, let's see here, I'll start right here on this one, and here is the picture of the flower. And then I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, like so, and I'll click on the other flower. And I'm going to hit OK. Now, as you can see there, it told me that we needed to choose a side pattern as well, because we have one at the end, we have one on a corner, but we have to have one here as well. The stroke actually has to have some artwork that follows the actual line itself, not just the end or the corners. So I'm going to choose the original one again. And now we have these three flowers. So I'm going to put the rose on the end this time. So the rose will be at the end, and I have these two. Now I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see here, we have a preview. We have these three flowers, and we have a rose. Now I'm going to draw a path with my pen tool. And then I'm going to click one time on the symbol. And as you can see, we have our flower following the exact instructions. So we have the rose at the end, we have the flowers in the middle, and on the corner. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this now. And let's double click on this guy in our brushes panel. I'll just tear it off real fast so you can see it, to edit it. So double click, and now you can continue. As you see here, we have a rose at the end of the path, and the beginning of the path, we can do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, and then find the rose, and now I should have a rose at both ends. Hit OK, and let's draw another path out. And click one time to add it, and there we have it. Here's our rose, here's our corners, and here are the flowers in between, and the rose at the end. So as you can see, you have a lot of options. I'm going to double click one more time, and you can also see we have other options. We can also choose none for one of these as well. So we can click on any of these guys here and choose none, and that clears out wherever the artwork was you had there. And likewise, you could put another pattern there if you want to, as many patterns as you placed inside of this swatches dialog box. So I have my two roses back. I can also flip things. So I can flip the artwork along, across the path. I can also choose to fit things in different ways. So I can have the artwork stretch to fit the path. I can say add space to fit, and approximate path. Now these are handy, especially if you have a shape that's a cube. So let me go ahead and create another shape here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete all of that. I'll draw out a rectangle. I'll click again, And as you can see here, we now have the artwork that is along this entire thing. Now, since it doesn't have a beginning or an end, the flower that we have on the corners and the center are going to occupy the entire thing. So when I double click, I can choose preview and I can choose my stretch. So right now it's on stretch to fit. I can say add space to fit, and as you can see, they move over a little bit, and we can choose approximate path. And that is how you can create and use a pattern brush on a shape like this, or a path that you draw with the pen tool, or any other tool that you want to apply a path to.